Hey everyone, my name is Jake Banderi. I'm a realtor in Metro Detroit, and this is my first video just detailing some of the development projects that are happening in downtown Detroit. I get a lot of people asking me from all over the country, asking what's going on in downtown Detroit, what's going on in Detroit in general, and this is just a primer to give you some more information. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me anytime. My information will be down below. Detroit is found in the state of Michigan, so we've got a population of approximately 10 million in the state of Michigan, and going into Metro Detroit, which is in southeast Michigan, we've got a population in our metro area of approximately 4.3 million people. In the city of Detroit, as outlined here in red, we've got a population of approximately 670,000. Once upon a time, Detroit was a city built for 2 million people, but since then we have had sprawl throughout the region, and now Metro Detroit is 4.3 million people. So going into the downtown core, which is the most densely populated area in Metro Detroit, the largest, most densely populated area in Metro Detroit. You can see here, it is the commercial center of the Metro Detroit region. One of the first projects I want to take you to is actually the Spirit of Detroit Plaza. This is a new plaza, and much of the downtown area has a push for creating new park space. That park space serves as hubs for various commercial areas and redevelopment projects. And going up Woodward, we do have, again, another park here, Campus Martius, and one of the bigger projects happening around that is the Monroe Block, and this will be a mixed-use development featuring offices, residential, and shopping all in one space. So I did want to point out here, this is the David Stott building, and there are various other buildings like it within the downtown area, such as Broderick Tower, which have been redeveloped in the last several years for residential purposes. And these buildings feature anywhere from studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartments. And further, we do have other developments of apartments going in, such as the City Club apartments. And this is again hubbed by Grand Circus Park here. So these parks have turned out to be great hubs for redevelopment. They have started redevelopment within the last year on Book Tower, and this is a neo-Gothic building in the downtown core that will be converted mixed use. Primarily it will be residential though. This is Capitol Park, again another park that is hubbed by commercial and residential use, and you can see actually here is the Griswold building, and this is new residential that has been added on top of a parking garage. So we do have infill projects happening in downtown Detroit. Various tenants have filled up the commercial areas as well surrounding this park. So it does seem that these parks are being revitalization hubs around the city. In the CompuWare Center, this is on the other side of here, is Campus Martius Park, which is essentially the Times Square of Detroit. And in this area, we do have an expansion of the building, adding more offices to the area. This is the Hudson's Tower site. So this is a major redevelopment project in downtown Detroit where they will be building a 700 to 900 foot tall tower. And previously, this was the tallest department store in the country, and it was demolished a few decades ago. So they are redeveloping this, and here's a rendering. So Shop Architects out of New York is the architect on this project, and it will be mixed use featuring shops, an entertainment area, as well as offices, and in the tower there will be residential. So going back to Woodward, we do have the Shinola Hotel redevelopment, and this whole block has been redeveloped along with that, as well as an alley in the back called Parker's Alley, which features various boutiques. And in the front here, along Woodward, this entire area has been developed both sides of the street to feature There is residential in here, as well as various shops and boutiques throughout the ground level, as well as offices, including recently expanded LinkedIn office in this location. Similar to the newly created Parker's Alley, there is the Belt, and this is hubbed by the Z Lot. It's a large parking structure which is very helpful in downtown Detroit, as we are a heavily commuter city. So the Z Lot here on both sides and down the center is the Belt, and the Beltway actually features various bars through it, and those bars are actually a hub for people during the weekend where they actually close off both sides of the alley, and it's a great open space. So in this entire area, there's actually some other developments that have happened with other restaurants, so forth, and including other hotel space. So the Element Detroit is a redevelopment of an old hotel here, and actually features a rooftop lounge called the Monarch Club. We do have business headquarters moving into the city of Detroit, including Little Caesars World Headquarters, and they've actually almost completed this building now. Here is a rendering here where the glass is actually supposed to resemble pizza slices. Little Caesars Arena is just north of their headquarters, as well as the Mike Ilitch Business School. Ilitch companies have Olympus Development Company as well, which is responsible for the District Detroit, and we will touch upon this in a separate video detailing the developments in Midtown, which is the neighborhood just north. Chemical TCF headquarters is coming to Detroit as well, and this is a ground up new headquarters that will be going in, bringing more jobs to the city as well. This is a top 50 bank coming to Detroit, and this will be the first one since Comerica left in 2006 to Dallas. So I'm going through here quickly, and I do want to point out this recent development, which is a joint project through Bedrock related companies as well as the University of Michigan. So this will actually be an entrepreneurial innovation center called the Detroit Center for Innovation, which hopes to bring in new industries to the city of Detroit. So we do actually have an increasing presence of tech companies in the city of Detroit, and I do think that a site like this is going to help foster new industries into the city. Similarly, with these parks that are acting as revitalization hubs within downtown Detroit, we've got Beacon Park, which has year-round programming throughout it, as well as a restaurant called Lumen, and they've got a rooftop patio as well here. This park is an excellent addition to the west side of downtown, and that's along Grand River. And similarly, on the west side of downtown, we do have Joe Louis Arena, which has been replaced with Little Caesars Arena, and Joe Louis Arena is currently being demolished, which there has not been a formal announcement for a redevelopment plan for this area, but it is next to the recently renamed TCF Center, which is the largest convention center in downtown Detroit. As well, it is a stop along the People Mover, which is a form of public transit in downtown Detroit. Right next to it, we've got the West Riverfront Walk expansion, and that is connecting the Riverfront Walk to the west side here, and this goes all the way far down past the east side of downtown Detroit. Over the last decade, the city of Detroit has spent a significant amount of time and money on redeveloping the waterfront such that you can essentially walk, jog, bike along the entire waterfront pretty far down here, and there's various new developments along that, but I am going to leave the east side developments, east of downtown developments, for another video. I'm trying to keep this a little bit shorter for us, focusing on the downtown developments, and we just have a few more left here that I wanted to touch base on. Although there are plenty of other smaller developments through the city of Detroit, these are some of the larger ones. Similarly, with this West Riverfront Walk expansion, we've got the West Riverfront Park redevelopment, which is being renamed as the Ralph C. Wilson Centennial Park. This is a $200 million park redevelopment, and we've got a rendering here actually of what this is going to look like. They've got a beach and kayak launch, they've got various playscapes, pavilions, lots of things going into it, and this was designed by the New York-based landscape architectural firm Michael Van Valkenburg Associates. So this is supposed to be completed in 2022. We do have various redevelopment proposals for I-375, which is a highway that essentially it cuts off the downtown area to the east of downtown, and they are talking about making this a ground level boulevard, which will free up more green space as well as connect downtown to the east side of downtown, which there is various development already happening the east side of downtown, which I am going to save for another video. But notes in this would be Dequindre Cut and Pullman Park, as well as Ducharme Place. These are all developments in this area. The largest infrastructure project in the state of Michigan right now is the Gordie Howe International Crossing. So this new bridge will be complete in the next several years. It is going to feature a 6-lane highway as well as be bike and pedestrian friendly. And the reason I wanted to point this out is because of the bike and pedestrian friendly aspect of it. There is a lot of investment right now in bike infrastructure in the city of Detroit, especially with the greenways that are going in. So this biking infrastructure will connect eventually over the next several years into this area coming from downtown to the new Gordie Howe Bridge. And so this will go from downtown into Mexican Town as well as Delray into the new border crossing, which is going to be bike and pedestrian friendly. And here's a rendering of that new bridge, and as you can see, there are pedestrians in the rendering. It is a 6-lane highway, and it's going to be highway to highway going from I-75 to the 401 in Ontario. And it is a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure project. And that will conclude this video on the more important construction projects that are happening within downtown Detroit. Follow along for future videos on Corktown, on Midtown, and various other neighborhoods in the city of Detroit and in Metro Detroit. All right, cheers. If you have any questions, let me know. Jacob Andary,